attorney and the advice that she has given you?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Underwood, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any information in the pre-sentence report?
We do not, Your Honor.
Do you, Ms. Wagner?
No, Your Honor.
All right, would you like to say anything?
I picked the kids up on the day all this happened, and the first thing was Mommy and Keys whooped Reese because they beat Reese. And that Reese says he has nightmares from this now, and he speaks as to Jasmine and Keys as they're monsters. And Isabel, his sister, the trauma from it onto her is she couldn't even go into a bathroom by herself anymore. Not at all. And she was never like that. She was fearless. And she will sit on the floor and hold herself until somebody will come with her. That she's so traumatized from this. And I just wanted to, to make that aware of that. These kids, they have.
This is heartbreaking. Can you imagine being so scared you can't go to the bathroom alone? How young is too young for trauma like this too? Take root hand. How do kids even begin to recover?
Okay, and I just, I want to make sure that they're fine.
They're in counseling?
Yeah, they do need, well, we're starting Isabel in counseling now, but yeah, they both need to be counseling, I think, yes.
Have they gone to counseling before this?
No, they were great loving kids before this.
No, I mean, like during the process.
Oh, Isabel's been one time so far, as far as I know, and I don't have to ask Marty about it.
Okay.
But she has been, they're starting it, so she needs to be in counseling because we got to get past this because she won't, like I said, she won't go to the bathroom out by herself. And she would get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom by herself without a problem. And now she won't. She's terrified. And they're terrified they're going to run into her. She's terrified she's going to run into her at the store. And Reese, he's watching this cartoon about monsters, and he refers to her and Keys as the monsters in the TV show now. I had photos on my table of us at Chuck E. Cheese on her birthday, on Izzy's birthday, and she ripped them up and ripped her mom out. And I'm taking it to the counselor, and then drew all over her with black marker, cut her right out of it. And I walked into the kitchen, and here these pictures are just tore up, and I was like, "Baby, what are you doing?" I don't want her in these pictures. She did not want them in. She didn't want her in them. She just tore them up. And I just think she's been really traumatized from this, and I just want them to be better. And I just think she should have to pay for what she did. I really do.
Wanda's referring to the incident with Reese happening in a bathroom. That is why Isabel is having issues with the bathroom. But from the very beginning, after this happened, Reese would have nightmares. He would holler out in the middle of the night or cry. He would holler out things like, "Quit, don't, stop, I don't want to, why?" Or he would be crying in his sleep. And he occasionally, we try very hard to spell around him if we have to be speaking about anything referring to this, so that he's not picking up on anything. And he just comes right out and just says stuff. Something sparks his memory, something he sees on TV, something somebody says, and then he just interjects with, "Mommy and Keys did this," or "I didn't like it when Mommy did that," or "I don't ever, 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 ever want to see Mommy and Keys again." And I don't know how to, exactly describe what it's like for him on a daily basis. We move on. We do as much things as we can. We all spend as much time with him as we can, trying to get further and further and further away from the incident, that I'm hoping that he's not going to carry this for the rest of his life. But he speaks a lot about it. And when I initially saw the bruises, the first thing I said was, "Oh my goodness, Reese, what happened? How did you get all these bruises?" He said point blank, "I peed on the floor." He was in the middle of potty training. "I peed on the floor and Mama and Keys whooped me with a belt and put me in a corner." And I was the one that reported it. I was told to get Tommy and get it medically documented and started all of this. And I'm really and truly hoping that these kids can get past this and that they don't have all these residual effects and these lasting effects of years and years and years of abuse. And I do believe, I'm just throwing this out, Isabel suffered longer because she was older. And even we're a year, almost a year exactly at this, and Reese is still talking about it, still making reference to it. And I just say, well, you know what? Everything's okay now. This is how I move him out of the direction of him starting to, everything's fine now. You're safe now. Everything's good now. Just so that I'm hoping slowly but surely we can kind of work this out of his mind so he's not as traumatized. But he's still to this day, a year later, has nightmares and dreams and still talks about how he doesn't want to ever see them again and that they are monsters. And I am not one of those people. I do not discuss this. I do not prompt him. I do not ask him questions. I don't ask him how he feels about this incident. This is something that we just never discuss, and he is the one that brings it up.
But he has to talk about it. And that's why he should be in counseling. He should be doing talk therapy. He should be discussing it with professionals and working through it. He has to talk about it.
Yes, and Tommy has that paperwork.
Okay. Because if he
But
doesn't.
what I encourage, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that, well, everything's okay right now. You're safe right now. Yes, I do understand what you're saying. I appreciate that. Thank
He's
you.
not safe. Like, he's safe today, but I think in his mind he doesn't feel safe tomorrow. So I think, he's doing good about talking about it, but he needs to be in counseling. Both of them do.
I do understand that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anything you want to say on behalf of the people?
Yes, Your Honor. So just briefly, I think it's important to note that when this investigation happened and Detective Putnam was investigating it, Ms. Carver was not cooperative. She lied several times and was caught in those lies. She said she didn't have a belt at all in the home. They found a belt in the home. She said it wasn't her belt, it was a friend's belt who had stayed the night. They went and interviewed that friend. That friend said, "No, I've never spent the night there. That's not my belt. That's not my size." Wasn't even her correct name, actually, or the place where she was employed. So there were a lot of lies that were told about this. When I saw the photographs of the injuries on this little 3-year-old, it was startling. They were very distinct and clear belt marks. There were marks that indicated to me that the buckle of the belt had struck this little 3-year-old as well. When I asked his father, Tommy, and his guardians, Wanda and Marnie, to describe their reaction when they saw those, they cried as they told me about it. And they said their immediate reaction when they saw the marks was to cry. You're not supposed to see marks like that on a little boy's body, on a little child's body. And I guess I'm especially disheartened this morning as I look at Ms. Carver on Zoom, and I don't think that you had the benefit of seeing this because you were focusing on Marnie and Wanda as they spoke, but Ms. Carver rolled her eyes and shook her head as they spoke, and I didn't see one bit of remorse from her. And I hope that she has remorse for the injuries that were inflicted on her young child, but she didn't demonstrate that this morning as Wanda and Marnie were speaking, and I think that that's really disheartening. So I would just ask you to take all of that into consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor. I'm sorry, I cut out there first.
The first,
I had very
one
bad
moment.
signal.
One moment, I'll address. I'll address that. Your Honor, I would like to start out by saying this is a tragedy for all concerned. Ms. Carver does not minimize in any way the damage done to her children. Ms. Carver understands that. Ms. Carver has lost custody of her children. Ms. Carver is not even allowed any parenting time with her children. She has paid a price for that. Your Honor, Ms. Carver, I believe there was an assault case with Ms. Carver as a victim with the other person who